topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have got an incredible show for you today. We are going to be talking about taxes. I know taxes is a dirty word, but I got to tell you, sometimes we get in trouble, and sometimes we even try to handle it ourselves. But I got to tell you that you've got to have a professional doing this. And we have got one of the best professionals out there. And I think we lost him. Waiting on Barry Fowler. It's actually been, here he is.
Hey, Steve.
I was just telling him that people do get in trouble, and that they should not ever, ever, ever try to handle it themselves. You don't want to go up against the IRS now with their 87,000 new agents. You got to have a professional. Let me tell you something about this professional, Barry Fowler and Taxation Solutions. Barry has been around for a long time. And what that means is, listen, I read about it all the time, these tax places, these big companies, these huge national advertisers. There's a lot of bad stuff on there about them. Barry will not say that. He's too good of a guy to say that, but I can say that. And those companies go out of business. Barry has been around. How long have you been around for, Barry?
Oh man, I've been doing taxes now almost 40 years, and but we've been in the tax resolution business here now close to 20, helping people fight the IRS. It's been an interesting time and interesting years, and you get more and more people in this field thinking they know what they do, but those are new people. They're not used to what we have done working against the IRS, all these years. I may not be running the largest tax resolution firm in the country, but I don't want to go up against those guys as far as how they get their clients in. When you talk to them, they're selling you the dream. I mean, everybody wants that dream house. Everybody wants that dream car. Well, and when you're dealing with the IRS, everybody wants that dream settlement. And, it's not possible for every single person out there, even though those companies that you were talking about make it seem like it is.
Yeah.
You've actually got to sit down and talk to the taxpayer, walk them through what the system does and what the IRS is allowed to do based on their financial situation. So, if you want the pipe dream, they'll sell it to you. If you want reality and want to know what really can happen within the IRS and how we can actually get you a settlement, you call us. And that's the huge difference. And we want to make sure that we're taking you down the right path and getting you the right settlement, not just trying to sell you something, hey, that you think you want that you're never going to get. I mean, we got to have some reality in this world.
Barry, I tell you what I love about your company, Taxation Solutions, is I hear people complaining about these companies. No one ever gets back with them, takes forever. Customer service is very important to you.
Oh, absolutely. We've got everybody to where we're at a minimum keeping them up to date, what's going on in their case here at least every 30 days. We're usually in contact with people a lot more often until We're in a stage where we're just sitting and waiting on the IRS, and we've given them all the information we need to give them to get your solution in place. And then once we're sitting and waiting for the IRS, then it may be once every 30 days, unless something happens. And then when we need information, when we need to, take you down that next road in that path, it's, we're in contact with you quite often, just trying to make sure we're getting everything and we're getting it timely. And that's part of the big key for you.
Barry, you're an enrolled agent. Tell everybody what that means.
Enrolled agent, we're actually licensed by the U.S. Department of Treasury to represent taxpayers to the highest level of the IRS, meaning that we're there being your advocate. We're going to fight for you. You don't ever talk to the IRS. We become your representative. We step right into your boots and we walk that path for you, the IRS, unless you're not being responsive to us and we can't be responsive to the IRS isn't going to call you. And if they do, you have our card and you just tell them, hey, look, we're represented by Mr. Fowler here at Taxation Solutions. Give them a call at 877-996-6477 and we take care of the rest. If an IRS agent shows up at your door, they shouldn't if we're representing you and you've got us on your side, but it has happened. You basically just hand them my card and tell them, hey, go away, call these guys. I mean, that's what having representation with us is like. We step into your shoes, you don't have to deal with it anymore. And, we take care of it, from there, including both business and personal when we're dealing with.
Absolutely. Barry, you do tax planning, you do tax preparations. It's not just tax relief.
That is true. I mean, we do everything, trying to help clients. And once you're a client, we're going to keep walking you down the path of keeping you in compliance. That does not mean paying the highest amount of tax possible. It means minimizing your tax, planning to reduce those taxes in every way we can. We deal with our clients. We're always looking to the future of, hey, how can we put you in the best situation to minimize the tax you're going to pay? Uncle Sam doesn't need all your money, even though they think he does. We want to keep that money in your pocket so you can spend it how you see fit, not on some of the frivolous programs that the IRS or the U.S. wants to put out there for people. We want to make sure you can spend it the way you want, not the way the government dictates.
I tell you what, I don't know what's going on in Houston, Barry, or the Texas area, but I'm seeing a lot of these companies now. They're trying to scare you with the 87,000 agents out there, and we can help you. Barry, you've represented thousands of people with great success, and I'm sure you're not even worried about the 87,000 new agents.
I'm just worried about their ignorance. It's new people coming in and being involved with the IRS that creates a bigger problem for taxpayers, for us as representatives, that we're having to school them in, what the tax law really is, what procedures they're supposed to follow, and where can we go to. If you're just a taxpayer calling in, it scares me because you don't know the law, you don't know the rules. They can get away with anything they want to do, and you don't know any better. Part of Taxpayer Bill of Rights is you have the right to have representation, and that's the biggest part about it. And that means, whether it's us here at Taxation Solutions or whether it's somebody else, you have a right to have somebody step into your shoes and represent you. And don't let them tell you that, hey, you don't need it. They just want to be able to take advantage of you as a taxpayer, not knowing what's going on, as opposed to finding you the best deal. These guys at the IRS don't represent you. You got to remember, they represent the U.S. government. And the government's interest is pure and simple: collect as much money as possible. And that means whether they put the right solution that's affordable for you, whether they, tell you, hey, you can actually qualify for an offer and compromise or reduce payment plan, they don't have to tell you any of that. All they got to do is get your money in any way, shape, or form. And then once you start talking to them, it's like gospel. It's like the written word in the Bible. It's there. It's God's word. You can't go against it. You can't prove it wrong. You can't do anything else. So you got to watch what you say to them as well, because you will make the job of your representative a lot harder to do it. Now, if you want to find out what we can do, it takes a phone call, and it's toll free consultation. We're going to talk to you about your problem. We're going to talk about our solution and what we can do for you. There is no cost for the phone call, no cost for that consultation. But you do got to take the time to actually dial the number of 877-996-6477. You can also find us on Facebook, taxationsolutions.net as well. Fill out one of our contact forms. We'll get back in touch with you. We'll set up a time where we can talk where it's convenient. My guys will talk to you in the evening if it needs to be, outside of work, lunchtime, whatever time you need to take to have a good, full, private phone call. But it takes you making that phone call to us or filling out one of the contact forms. And it becomes real simple. 877-996-6477. Call us today. Let's get started.
Yes, absolutely. Barry, you and I are on the same page with people get that letter from the IRS and they stick it in that drawer, and they think because they've not opened it, stuck it in the drawer, that it's going to go away, and it doesn't. We're giving you a way now, and we're going to be talking about business a lot today. In fact, we had 3 businesses that called us up knowing we're going to do the show today, and they're listening right now. I don't have to worry about Barry getting nervous.
Oh, no.
No, but various companies here to help you get through this. It's not easy. And if you try to do it yourself, it really isn't easy.
Oh, no. And business taxes, when you start dealing in business taxes, it's even worse because you're dealing both for the business and if you're the business owner on the personal level too. So you got a double whammy going on there. We're dealing with a local shop here close to us that's already dealing with major business problems, and we've got probably one of the worst IRS revenue officers involved in this whole thing. When we got started, it took her 3 months and probably 30 phone calls to get her to actually call us back. And in the meantime, they're working on levying and everything else. So I've actually had to go, not just to her manager, but had to go to the territory manager to get some interactions in there and to get things stopped so that we can actually deal with this problem and deal with somebody that's going to be reasonable and stuff. Now she's being reasonable. Of course, we had the territory manager jump all over her. So we're good.
Yeah. Barry, what is most of the reasons businesses owe taxes today?
Well, today it's most of the time it's going to be payroll taxes. And it becomes really easy in, especially this day and time. I mean, we're dealing with inflation, higher costs on everything, and it's put a lot of pressure on small businesses and, mid-sized, family businesses. And the easiest place to skip on saving money, so to say, keeping money in the bank, is not making those payroll tax payments. You've got to pay your employees, and then you say, oh my gosh, I got to pay rent. I've got to, pay for cost of goods sold. All these other pressures come on to you as a business owner. And most of the time it's the easiest place to avoid, and that's making that payroll tax payment. But it's also one of the harshest penalties the IRS puts on you as a business owner when you don't make those payroll tax payments. They're going to come after you pretty rapidly. It may take them 6 months to get started on doing collections on it, because it takes some time, from when you file your 941s, and then they see that you didn't pay it, and then they finally start getting the notices out, and then they start adding all the penalties and the interest and everything else on top of it. And it just becomes a huge snowball of, what to do to the IRS. And then they start coming after you both at the business level and personally. And, a lot of these business owners we've seen is not just been one quarter, it may be 2 or 3 or 4 quarters that they've avoided in paying, payroll taxes. Now, what do? You got to get somebody on your side to, stop the IRS and, even get them to stop making those levies so you can actually continue to operate that business and continue to pay your employees. But we got to get you back on the right path too.
Yeah, I got to tell you, if you're a business owner, how far can they go back, Barry?
Well, they can go back on those payroll taxes for as long as you hadn't paid them.
Oh,
So, I've had a client in the past that we were dealing with 7 years of payroll taxes that they were coming after. And, sometimes we get amazed at things the IRS does or doesn't do as they're going through it. And this client, we actually worked with them to get the IRS to put them on a payment plan. Then they never made any payments, but the RO didn't get the case back for another 2 years. So, they got away with not making these payments. But in the meantime, we also got the revenue officer, when we were dealing with it, to waive about 3 years worth of penalties, which is amazing in this business.
wow.
And the real nice part is we got it put off far enough that they also were outside of the window to be hit with civil penalties on them personally. So we've managed to do a lot of different things for that client that sometimes it amazes us what we can get done. And other times it's, hey, we're just that good that, we were able to, get this client and keep this client out of even deeper water. Fortunately for us, that we got them outside that window and they couldn't go back and hit them with those penalties. So it was even better.
What are civil penalties, Barry?
Civil penalties are the taxes that you didn't pay that are considered trust funds. So the IRS, when you as a business owner, or even a signer on a business checking account, and a business didn't pay the payroll taxes. So the trust fund portion of those taxes are the amount that you pull out of a employee's check. So the amount you pull out for federal withholding and Social Security and Medicare from the employee. So you were trusted that you were taking that money and paying it to the IRS. And so they will hit you with trust fund penalties as a business owner, business manager that's signed on the account that they deem responsible for those payroll taxes as well. If you're just let's say you're an employee and have signing rights on the account for payroll, and you were paying other bills and not paying the payroll taxes, you could still be deemed liable for it. We've seen that happen many years down the road, even for somebody that's out of business. We were dealing with he was actually a bookkeeper. He did have signing authority, but didn't have authority to make decisions on who got paid or who didn't. Well, his liability was close to $500,000 of taxes that they didn't pay that were trust fund. And then they added almost $500,000 in penalties and interest. And, we had to walk that guy through many, many, many years of dealing with this problem. Unfortunately, we couldn't get any things from the owners because they both passed away. And so you see how this became a big impact for him. We actually got that liability taken off of him because he had nothing to pay anyway. But, we were able to put a solution in place for him. So, crazy things do happen, but the IRS will hit anybody that's responsible. And sometimes even if they're not, with those trust fund penalties. So you need good representation going through that trust fund penalty phase as well.
We just had a listener wants to know, are they really not going after the middle class? I think I can answer that.
It's funny. They say that, we're not going after middle class, or we're not going after these. They're going after everybody.
Yes.
Our government is money hungry. Have you seen what the national debt is? They're going to come after every single dollar they think they can get. Now, that being said, if you're in the middle class and your income's low enough, there are solutions we can put in place to either get rid of this debt, maybe put you in non-collectible status, or even put it into a very low payment plan if you've got other assets. See, the IRS looks at everything, and you can't hide anything from the IRS because, A, they're the largest collection agency and probably the best collection agency in the world. But even if you think, hey, they can't find this property, I've seen them find properties that you don't disclose to us. And you say, well, how'd they find it? Well, they could search many, many more records than you think they could ever do. But, you may have some property that's worth money, and the IRS is going to look and say, hey, you can afford to sell it and give it to them. But there are solutions sometimes that get around that for you, but we've got to have the knowledge of it so we know how to put the right solution in place for you, so that the IRS can't touch it, or maybe it's something that we can go away. I've had a couple of clients, their homes are worth now $1 million, and they have more equity in the home than the taxes that they owe. Well, we've found ways to get around it with the IRS, where we've done a very, very low payment plan, and they're able to keep that home and equity in there without having to tap it, and be able to put a solution in place that they can afford. And what's really nice is on personal taxes, statute of limitations will run out after 10 years. And, if we can get them beyond that, then they actually have the settlement that actually puts a solution in place where they don't pay the full amount of tax even. So there's a lot of different things we do for our clients that help them get them into a better spot. And, it may not be the dream solution, but it's a solution that's going to be best for them.
Barry, what's so amazing about what you do? Before people contact you, 877-996-6477, they have so much pressure on their shoulders. But when they sign up with you, they no longer have to talk to the IRS anymore.
And people tell us all the time, hey, I hired you, and for the first time I can sleep at night. Or
Yes.
really nice part is it's the first time that my wife hasn't yelled at me for not dealing with this problem. And hey, we know it. We've talked to the husbands that are finally manning up and dealing with the problem. And then we have to talk to the wife because she's got to give us information, and she goes, well, I just can't believe that, choice words, finally decided he's going to do something about it. And I'm like, hey, ma'am, I'm great. We're going to deal with this. Relax. Hey, give him a pat on the back and tell him, hey, thank you for taking the pressure off of us. Give him a hug, give him a kiss, do something to let him know that you're proud of the fact that he's actually dealing with the problem. And sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes it was the wife's problem that she got you into the tax problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Made a lot of money and, filed taxes incorrectly, or, she came into the relationship even times where the problem, and the husband's mad, and hey, we have to tell it the other way. Hey, we tell them that, look, you're finally dealing with it. Just relax, answer the questions. Let us help you. Don't worry about it. As long as you're answering us, we're going to be answering to the IRS. We're going to be talking. We're going to be communicating. We're going to tell you what's going on and when the bad parts hit. And, we're going to put holds on here. We're going to do the things to walk you down this path to get you the right solution. So just bear with us. Sleep at night, answer the questions, and let's go. That's the real nice part. And then when we do put the solution in place, to hear the excited voices on the other end of the line when we're talking to them and just explaining to them, hey, look, we got you this settlement. We one couple we had that they owed $1.5 million, and we got it reduced to $200,000. They were the most excited family I've probably ever heard.
I bet.
More excited than somebody that owed 50,000 and we got them down to 20. Now, if you owe 50,000 and I got you down to 1,000, which I've done many a times, those people are extremely excited because they're like, oh, wow, I can't believe you were able to do this and get things done. We've got one that we're working on right now that actually is hopefully going to council today for approval for an offer. And we've actually been dealing with him. Now, he's had his ups and downs and had some major issues. And so we've had to actually put 2 or 3 different offers into him. Well, it looks like we're going to finally get this one to council and be accepted. And as long as he follows what we're doing, because the biggest problem was he ended up owing taxes every year and it would throw out any offer we had on the table. That now we've got him straight and narrow and he understands all this. And he owes $235,000 and we're getting him down to about $6,000 is where his offer is going to be once council approves it. So it's not done yet. He's still got to walk that straight and narrow for another 5 years. So we hope he does.
Right.
Once council approves it. But those are the kind of things that we get done for our clients, and we work very, very hard for them to get them to this phase and get this stuff done. So it's one of the sweet things we get to do.
Barry, give everybody, your show always goes by so fast. Give everybody your website address and your phone number, how they can reach you.
All right. So first off, check us out on Facebook at Taxation Solutions. You can find us on the web out there in Facebook, but you can also find us at taxationsolutions.net. Remember, that's .net, taxationsolutions.net. The easiest way is picking up the phone and call us, 877-996-6477. Again, that's 877-996-6477. Toll-free call. If you got friends or family anywhere in the country, have them call us. We've got 50 offices around the country where we deal with the IRS on a basis. Wherever we need to be, we're going to be to deal with the IRS. But we've got that toll-free phone for you. We've got free consultation for you. We've got special discounts if you mention Ask the Experts that, hey, we're going to put in place for you because we love the show. Steve-O, you're great. And, getting the information out to friends or family is really, really important because dealing with the IRS problems yourself is really, really tough. Again, it's 877-996-6477. I've got salespeople standing by, so pick up that phone and call us and mention Ask the Experts.
Barry, bro, we love you. Thank you for coming on. Barry's with us every month. He'll be back with us again next month on the Ask the Expert show. Again, Taxation Solutions, taxationsolutions.net is the website, 877-996-6477. Thank you, Barry.
Hey, thank you, Steve. I look forward to it next month. Appreciate it.
Same here, bro. That's Barry Powell. He's such a great guy. It's such a family man, and he's just somebody you can put faith in. I'm telling you, you can. That's it for us today. We'll be back again next week with more Ask the Experts. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless everybody.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.